Transfers, I guess.
Yeah,
it's in the title, isn't
yeah.
it? Talking transfers.
I want to know what he makes of Christian Mosquera. Do you know, the minute I saw the link, I went, Cecil.
Expert.
Like, what? I wonder what he's thinking.
His name again?
Yeah, doesn't know his name. We're going to talk about Christian Mosquera. We're going to talk about Eberechi Eze.
Yes.
Quite a lot's happened the last 2 days. Bert and Arteta have woken up. Or maybe they've been working in the background and we just had to be more patient.
They saw Lee Judges. Or actually, social media in general was in uproar this week.
And welcome to Robbie and Laurie as well. But anyway, let's go on.
You know, James, just before you start there, right?
Yeah.
If you remember, let's just roll back to the last show.
Oh, he's gonna
right.
He's gonna come.
When there's certain people on this panel, right? One's to the left and one's to the right, right? Who were coming for me because I said to have a bit of patience, right? I said it. I said that the transfer window had only been opened at that time 5-6 days.
5 days, yeah.
And they were losing it. Right?
Did I miss something?
Now,
we signed a striker.
No, I'm still.
Thank you, Laurie.
No, we haven't signed a striker, but we've making.
Haven't signed anyone officially. All right.
We're making signings, yeah. So Zubamendi is done. Kepa's done. Christian Norgard, that looks like that's done.
I haven't seen Arsenal announce them.
Christian Norgard said he was doing his medical today. Now this is another guy that's mentioned, and they're working on a striker.
Are there any needle movers in those?
Let's just say, does that not show you that when I said, be a bit patient, signings are coming?
Come on, Robbie, man.
Come on, man.
I know what you're saying, but
it's not the
Are
big.
you serious right now?
I'm being very serious, and I'll say to you, which I said before, right? By the time we go on that pre-season, which is what a point that James made on the last one, right?
That's fair.
He wants to see the majority of signings made, right? Including a striker, which I do think that will be made before we go on that pre-season, right? And then when that happens, all of you are going to have to come, you two are coming and apologise.
How
because
much
again,
percentage?
you're freaking out for no reason. Remember, James?
Give me a percentage.
There was some freaking out.
Yeah, no, I was there. It was me.
But yeah, you were freaking out.
I was there. I wasn't
No, but since
freaking
we
out. It's a bit of
spoke-
over-exaggeration.
Hang on, Cecil. Let me say this here.
Disgruntled.
So since we had that conversation, which I do admit, I did express
You admit?
concern. I weren't panicking. I expressed concern. But
such a wonder.
what has so drastically changed? What, Christian Norgard?
There's been 4 signings. Well, 3 signings.
No
that are
one's
gonna be made.
been officially. This is
And both me and James said on that show that most of those things will be announced after the end of this month, because at the end of the month, most of those contracts run out, which is where we people? We are near the end. It's the 26th today.
To say you're reaching is an understatement.
That's not a reaching at all.
You're reaching,
because most of those signings, as we said, will be announced at the end of the month.
that will probably happen, but it's still not a signing. There's still not a big. There's still not.
There's
it's not
signings.
signs that
You said there'd be no signings. You were losing it.
We didn't say
You liars,
that.
you do the same. You know
We
what
didn't
you're
say
doing.
that,
They love to
Now,
throw
listen.
things in like their own narrative.
Listen, as I said, and I said it to Lee today, right? Obviously, we're all waiting on the big one, which is the striker. But as I said, as James said on the last show, which he's 100%
Why do you keep
right.
bringing James into
Because he
it?
was the only
He's back up,
sensible
he's
one.
back up, he's back up,
Not
he's
back
back
up. He was the only
He's back
sensible
up.
one on the last show, right? As you know, and it was
Only
you know what?
sensible.
You
on
said
the-
you understood where
What do-
fans are coming because
what do you-
other
no,
teams were
under-
making signings.
As I said,
Man United, the Liverpools, and we
No.
were just being left behind.
So let me just finish. I said on the last show, I understand the frustration, which I still do.
Right, and we were frustrated. No,
But I said to people to be patient, right? Because, as I said, those factors, the end of the month coming, this is still early in the window, and people were absolutely hammering me because it's a fashionable thing to do then. But now look, after showing a bit of patience, where are we now?
let's put your money where your mouth is.
And I'm telling you,
let's
and to
I wanna
me,
bet.
the strike will be signed before we go on.
How confident are you of that? What percentage?
80%. 90% that
90%,
we'll get
yeah.
that strike before we go. I don't think we'll have everything done by
But
then.
the striker in by 9%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just hold this up and just put this to the screen. Just
Yeah,
just
and what's your...
hold this up.
all right, now you put it. What's your percent?
What that the
What's
striker
your
will be
percent?
confirmed.
Because I've done this percentage thing before, people. I remember I did this percentage thing when we played Real Madrid.
90%.
And I said at least 40%. I got hammered for that as
you
well.
did, you did,
and then people like you were saying 0%, 5%.
No, I wasn't doing that. I said
And we beat them over
35.
both legs.
No, but hang
So I've
on,
done this
hang on. I
percentage
just
thing
want to
before.
clarify
9%,
something.
that's what
So hang
I'm saying.
on. So,
You got the
if
clip
I'm
now.
getting this right, Cecil, you want me and Cecil to apologise to you because we're on the verge of signing Christian Norgard.
It's a signing. And you know what the thing is as well,
Yeah,
right?
I don't even want to be disrespectful.
We've started fast.
It's not-
Time press.
No.
I didn't see the show going this way.
Yo, come on, bro.
It's not just Christian Norgard, right? It's Zubimendi, as I said. I said that on the lot. How are you sure? Blah, blah, blah.
I knew that
Real
was
Madrid
done.
are coming,
I knew
this and that.
That wasn't me.
Do you think,
That was the
what
internet.
percentage do you think we're going to sign
No, that's
Zubimendi?
official.
And what percentage do you think we're going to sign
100%. But I knew this.
Because
I knew
remember
this.
the last show?
That's
What's your
that's the
percentage
internet.
now?
There was some panic about
That's the
Zubimendi.
internet. That's the internet. That
What's
was the
their
internet.
percentage, people?
100%.
Right? Because as I said, it's fashionable, a week or so ago, or 2 weeks ago when I did this, and I said, be patient on that, and they all now.
I just thought.
Let's see.
No, there was
what percentage?
I thought the panic was misplaced as well, because for me, if the panic was I don't really rate Sesko, it looks like he's the one we want, or I don't really rate Gyökeres,
also
and
feel
we're
that.
choosing between those two, I said, do you know what? Fair enough, because does
also
that
feel
close the gap to Liverpool City? They're actually fair questions. But as people saying Arsenal aren't doing anything, I was like, Saka Saliba contract talks. Gabriel signed his. Lewis Skelly was about to sign his. Zubimendi, Kepa were through the door. Now we've got Norgard done. Now we've heard about Mosquera and Eze. I'm like, and Sesko and Gyökeres talks are going on. I think we've been anything but quiet. The question is, have we been good enough? But I mean,
That'll be the
Yeah,
question.
that was
Never
my.
got over the
That'll be
line,
the
yeah.
question. And,
I think that's a fair
My
question.
frustration-
and the thing is, right, Jake,
Robbie's talking
we
like
weren't
we're
doing
Liverpool
nothing.
and
I
we
said,
signed
at
24
the,
man.
I said at the times that behind the scenes, we don't know what's happening. We don't know what negotiations are going on. We don't know how close they are. We don't know that. Fair enough is what you said. If we get to that pre-season and we haven't done any business, then everyone has a right to completely lose it. But we were still way off that 2 weeks ago.
So you're happy with the way things are right now?
I think the signings that I've seen being made so far, very sensible signings.
We haven't made any signings yet.
No,
Do you know what? I'll answer. I'm happy. And
I am as well. We've done good
and I'm
business.
not
done
super
good business.
excited, elated over the moon, but I do think Kepa. Someone tweeted it. And it was quite funny. We shared it on DR. I do think Kepa and Norgard are that word, sensible sign. I think they make sense for the fee and the role they're going to play in the squad, the experience they got, and also crucially, I think they're good footballers. I think Mosquera, if we get him in, and that. Seems to have advanced quite a lot today. I think that's a really good young 20-year-old centre back coming in to cover for Saliba. Zubimendi's a class act, and people aren't actually appreciating how good he is.
Top
And we've
player.
added him,
They're
which is
not.
brilliant. And then it's a case of Rodrigo or Eze. It looks like at the moment Sesko or Gyökeres. Look, I have questions and reservations about the two strikers. Actually, with both of them. But I love Eze and Rodrigo. I think both of them could play for our club and make a big difference.
Pick up,
As
sorry.
things are going, I'm feeling good about it. Yeah, I'm not, but there's still a gap between what a window, we're better than Liverpool and Man City now. But I almost think you've got to get in an Isak, or you've got to get in like a superstar to feel like we've closed the gap to
Does
those
it feel
two.
like last summer at all? Because we were making signings, not in the sign of the times of making
last
signings,
summer
but
was
we was
slow.
picking up. Yeah, but no, not in the sense of timings, but the players we were signing were players I thought happy with, but they're not a shiny toy yet. Does it feel like it's similar to that?